Welcome into this edition of ESPN FC alongside Craig Burley. I'm Sebastian Salazar. Great to have you with us here on ESPN Plus. In just a little bit, we'll hear from Aage Fjortoft as well. But Craig, let's start with the news of the day, or at least one bit of news of the day. Kalvin Phillips, the 26-year-old English international, looks like he's ready to make the move from Leeds to Manchester City for a reported fee of £42 million. He's been with Leeds since he made his first team debut with the club back in 2015. For more perspective on this move, we're going to welcome into the show the aforementioned Aage Fjortoft. But Craig, I want to start with you. From the Manchester City perspective, this the right move?
I think this would be good business. Like a lot of people, I'm a big fan of this guy. He had an injury-ravaged season, but he's a regular international footballer now. He has got a lot of Premier League experience. He's very dynamic, can play multiple positions across the middle of the park, or you can go into the back line. Passes the ball well. Not as well as some of the City players, so that's going to be an up in the standard for him. But bearing in mind that Fernandinho's gone, you know, you've got Rodri there, who I think is a terrific player, and I don't think Kalvin Phillips walks straight into the team for me, because I think Rodri's a terrific player. But when you think about it, they've had Rodri and Fernandinho, so they've been able to balance it. They haven't often played with two more defensive midfielders, but sometimes they have. But you've got to have cover, haven't you? You've got to have alternatives, and I think this is a great move because he's one of England's best talents.
Yeah, and Craig mentions Fernandinho moving on then, but of course Rodri's still very much in the mix for Manchester City. Is this how you would have strengthened the City squad with this move?
Well, I think well, Craig analyzes well, but I want to add the English part of it. I mean, the three big signings he's done is Grealish, Haaland, and Phillips, two of them English, and I think that is important also for Manchester City to show that. But I think this is a matter of great business. Phillips, his dynamic is enormous. He's got I don't know if it's an English phrase, he got a contagious way of playing football, because when you see him play, he wants to get the players around him doing that as well. And you can see that Pep Guardiola now is on a mission. He changes a bit in and around the team, getting new kind of skills in there. And in this mad world of fees all over the place, I think 42 million sounds like quite good business, as bizarre as it might sound. So I think that this is great for Manchester City, and they're absolutely strengthening themselves. And I think it's interesting to see how Liverpool, Manchester City, so narrow, of course, last season, kind of mirror themselves in the way they're signing players. It's quite interesting.
Jan, why English? You said Manchester City need English players. Why?
I think it's important when you have foreign owners, you have a foreign coach, mostly foreign players. I think it's important to have a core of good English players in your team, because we should never forget that Manchester City is an English club, and we have to stick to that. And they're playing in the English Premier League. And maybe call me old-fashioned, but I think there should be some English. I came to England in 1993. I was a guest at TV programs telling about how to be a foreigner in English football. Now it's all different. So I think that it's so important that Manchester City also have that, because most of the fans in the stadium are also kind of the English fans going in there. So I think that is important, and I don't think that should be underestimated.
What about the player perspective here? You said you don't see him walking into the 11. It's a World Cup year. There's months till the tournament. That could be a concern.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I think it will be a big grind for this lad to leave Leeds, his home club. But you know, maybe Bernardo Silva gets this move to Barcelona that he seems to want, but then they're completely different players, obviously. You know, Silva can't do what Phillips does, and Phillips can't do what Silva does. That was a kind of generic midfield for them last year. If Silva doesn't go, and some people, I've seen some criticism of Rodri, and of course every player's up for criticism, but I really think he does a terrific job there. A lot of people think he slows it down. He does. I think he's a fantastic footballer. I really do.
What about the idea of playing them both together and kind of changing what City do?
Well, I don't think they need to do that in the Premier League so much, and I think recent history would tell you that themselves and Liverpool have sort of bullied a lot of the teams. They haven't needed two more defensive midfielders, but as we know, the Champions League, this sort of noose around the neck, if for want of a better phrase. And again this year, 2-0 up or whatever. I can't remember the scoreline, but 2 goals up.
That's where they need it.
In the Bernabeu. Maybe there's a change of thinking for Pep Guardiola. And, you know, Jan mentioned the English, and look, it's not the most important thing, but I think it just shows you where kind of the English players are at the moment. Some of them, he tried to sign Kane, he signed Grealish, he's got Foden, he's got Stones, he's got Walker, and now we're talking Kalvin Phillips as well. So I think it kind of tells you where the English national team is that, or should be, is that a lot of these guys and managers are not just looking abroad straight away, wherein a few years ago, a lot of them wouldn't have touched many of the English players. So yeah, I think this would be really, really good business for Man City.
Go on, Jan.
I think that is a very good point, because I think that is also a compliment to Gareth Southgate. You have to give him that he has made a good English team. And it's also good news for Gareth Southgate that Kalvin Phillips, as Craig was saying, he is at this moment he's not up there with the passing qualities there is in a Pep Guardiola team. But you know, he goes to the big master. He will learn so much from Pep Guardiola. We can criticize him for this and that, but he's a fantastic coach, and he will improve Phillips. No disrespect to Jesse Marsh, no disrespect to Bielsa. We've all seen the heart that Phillips have had for Leeds United, but he will improve as a football player going to Manchester City.
So Manchester City then set to spend some big cash to bring in Kalvin Phillips. They're going to get some cash in as well, because it looks like the deal for Gabriel Jesus to move to Arsenal has been agreed upon between the two clubs. Looks like they still need to come to personal terms with Gabriel Jesus, as the Brazilian is set to move from Manchester City to Arsenal. Craig, from a City perspective, let's start there first. How much do you think they'll miss him? He played in some, if you look back at the games he played in, he seemed to play in all the big games for Pep.
Yeah, in a wider position. I think they can afford to lose him. Mm-hmm. I talked on this show a few days ago. You know, as good as he's been, he spent a lot of time on the bench, has come on and scored some great goals, has frustrated at times, I have to tell you, and has done a great job in a wider position, thwarting fullbacks and doing that kind of stuff in the Champions League. I think they can afford to lose him with the squad they've got. Bearing in mind they've brought in Alvarez from South America, and as a young player up and coming, and then obviously needs no introduction, Erling Haaland. So, as I was saying a few days ago, Seb, it's simple mathematics. You just can't keep bringing players in and not letting players go. So you have to let certain players go, otherwise you end up with a dressing room of 30 and you're not going to be able to register them all. So, yeah, it's a natural evolution, and Jesus has been good for them, but they're going to cope without him. The
reported transfer fee there, you see it, £45 million. Is this the right move then for Arsenal, Jan?
Well, in the markets, it's hard to get especially good strikers, and Jesus is as good as Arsenal can get at the moment. They were talking about they had an alternative to go to Conte, could go to Tottenham, and then he chooses to go to Arsenal. Last week, I had a quite interesting conversation with Martin Ødegaard, who is obviously playing for Arsenal, and he explained me the way Arteta are doing his business, how he's approaching the team. He was very complimentary about Arteta, and I think that he is probably convinced Jesus that this is a good so-called project to be a part of it. The big challenge for Jesus will of course be when you go to Arsenal. It's easier to score goals for Manchester City. You had a team there for Manchester City. I mean, the assist potential in that team is unbelievable. Okay, they have some good midfield players at Arsenal as well, but Jesus got to now show it that he can get the goals also for Arsenal. Going to Tottenham, we would be there up with Son. It would be for Harry Kane, of course. So I think this is a good move for both of them. It's kind of fitted. That's a same. But when he was linked to Arsenal, you thought, yeah, that sounds like a good match.
What's the level of risk here for Arsenal?
Well, they need to get a striker in, as Jan said. Aubameyang gone.
Is he?
Well, he's a striker, but well, it's his natural position. I mean, it's like every transfer. I don't know. I don't have the answer. But all I can tell you is, if he doesn't fit in, then it's going to be a problem for Arteta, because you know, we know they have a lot of good youngsters, and we know, you know, Nicolas Pepe from France, big money signing, has really flattered to deceive. And it's been the younger guys, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka in particular, that have carried the weight of the team. But what I would say is, last season, think about it, Arsenal started away as an absolute total shambles, right?
Yeah.
Now, the goalkeeper changed, the back four pretty much changed, they solidified. Nobody expected them to get in to the top four, particularly after the start, and some people were talking about relegation. I think that was just pie in the sky. But they came with a run, and then all of a sudden they were the favourites to get in, and it didn't happen. And he got a few clips around the ears for that, but nothing more, Mikel Arteta. However, now that the back four's in place, the goalkeeper, now that all these youngsters are a year more experienced, now that the potential for one or two big money signings, he can't afford to have an absolute bang average season. Not when Tottenham are in the Champions League, not when Man United have got a new manager, and all these different scenarios. Last year was a little bit of a leeway year for him to some extent. I don't think this year will be. And as one old manager said to me years ago, I don't like signing players for big money, Craig, because that just adds pressure. So, you know, there's two ways to look at it.
Jan, to Craig's point here, is Arteta getting everything he needs to be competitive? Has he run out of excuses next season?
Well, it seems that he's getting the backing from the owners. The problem is that is the balance in the team. I think he need that big number 9-ish, but everybody looks for that guy. The interesting thing with Arteta, if you can't make it with the Arsenal team, when you see 6, 7 very good players, you just feel that they won't hang around. I mean, Arsenal know that from their history. They have been losing young players for fun for years, so they have to get in there. So I think Arteta would have a bonus because he's a good kind of management kind of style. He learned his trade by Pep Guardiola, but he has to deliver next season. But I think that it will be exactly like this season. There will be 6, 7 teams battling out for the Champions League, or say it the other way, there will be 3, 4 teams battling for that 4th position.
So Gabriel Jesus, one number 9 on the move, at least potentially. Another number 9 that we expect to be on the move, Robert Lewandowski, of course, a sport from Barcelona. Can you translate this for me? Final offensive, Craig. Final offensive for Lewandowski.
Look, hold on, give me time. Give me time. This has become a real mess.
Yes. Reportedly, Barcelona offering close to the 40 million euros that Bayern are demanding for the want-away striker. It makes it seem like maybe the deal is close until you hear from Oliver Kahn a couple days ago. The now CEO of Bayern said the situation hasn't changed. Robert has a contract with us for another year, and we expect to see him on the first day of pre-season in July. Jan, do you believe Oliver Kahn? Will we see Robert Lewandowski with Bayern Munich on the first day of pre-season?
There is not a simple answer to do you believe Oliver Kahn, because Oliver Kahn says so many strange things. To make it more confusing now at Bayern is that they kind of change their position depending on players. So Serge Gnabry, they will say, will we find a solution if the player is not happy? Hello, Robert Lewandowski is the most unhappy player in the history of Bayern, it seems. And for them, they're using the word basta. He's coming back. 12th of July, we want to see him in Munich. But he has been very vulnerable about all the rumours, all the talking, all the negotiation with Erling Haaland. Salahamidzic and Oliver Kahn have kind of saved themselves now, because bringing in Mane, that is a very good deal for them to take him on. Robert Lewandowski will say that is the player you need to let me go to Barcelona. Bayern Munich said, no, that is not the number 9. We need someone else, and then there is no one coming in. So this is going to be very interesting to follow. They say that Robert Lewandowski was kind in Dortmund when he was told 1 year before that he couldn't go to Bayern. He scored then for fun that last season, and then he went for a free the year after. But that's 10 years ago, and I think that Camp Lewandowski, they want to leave, and I still think they will leave, and I think that Barcelona will get a new player, and the outsider Chelsea, they want him as well. But Robert Lewandowski wants to go to Barcelona with his little nice family.
As Jan said, he had time on his side back then in Dortmund, didn't he? Yeah. When he was told he wasn't making the move for 12 months, but he hasn't got time on his side anymore. So you know, what do we expect about a CEO being a former goalie at Bayern saying stupid stuff?
Are you going to go down the goalie route?
I mean, Xhaka's on today. I think Xhaka, he'll be a bit. Yeah, I'm going to go down the goalie route. I mean,
are you surprised how ugly this breakup is? I mean, he's a legend.
I am.
You can't treat your legends like that.
Well, you can treat them. Well, you know, I think what we have here is a classic case of a very powerful player, one of the best there's ever been in his position, and a hugely powerful club who don't want to be dictated to. But I agree with you, yeah, and I think, I mean, if he walks back through that training ground on July 12th and he's still a Bayern Munich player, I mean, it's going to be fun and games. It just seems to me it's become so...
rotten.
Yeah, rotten's a very good word. It's become so rotten, so ugly, so bitter between, and particularly the words coming out of the club.
Yeah.
That I feel, Jan, that they have to, Bayern Munich, whether they like it or not, are going to have to find a deal here to make sure this goes through and they can move on.
What do you think, Jan?
We've talked about this on the show, and we talked about it very early when Bayern Munich denied that they would talk to Erling Haaland, and I said all along they were negotiating with him. Robert Lewandowski knew as well. He knew that from the start. And Craig, yes, they played a high game, Bayern, on this one. They have kind of somehow believed that you can take Erling Haaland to Munich, you can negotiate with him, you can more or less say, here is your number 9, and at the same time you have Robert Lewandowski there. And then if you don't get Erling Haaland, you will go back to Robert Lewandowski and say, well, by the way, you best striker in the world, we want to keep you for another season. He is not having that. Robert Lewandowski have told him for months he's not having that. And now I think it's come to a time that Bayern Munich needs to get a deal to save their own face. It's nothing to do with the club. It's to save their own face. It could help with Mané that they will say, yeah, you're still good. So you are a good sport director. You got him in, but now they have to let Lewandowski go.
Jan, you mentioned the case with Gnabry. Salihamidzic comes out and says, you know, if the player wants to leave, we'll work to find a solution that's good for all sides. Why take such a different approach with Gnabry compared to Lewandowski? I'm sure that's not sitting well with the Lewandowski camp.
Yeah, can you imagine that Bayern Munich thinks, oh, we'll say that in the media, but Robert Lewandowski won't read it. He probably don't have Wi-Fi where he is at his holiday spot. Yeah, it's unbelievable. The reason is, of course, they could have said it differently. They know when they have Coman, they have a flexible Miller, they have Mané who can play in different position, they have Sané. They will think that that the German international will play a major part in the German national team going into Qatar at the World Cup. He are going down the pecking order at Bayern Munich, so they can afford to lose him, but they feel, and maybe right so, they can't afford to lose Robert Lewandowski. But as I said, this has come to a stage now that they have to find a solution there, not only by Gnabry, and I think that they want to get some money back now for Serge Gnabry, and that is the message, and hopefully Robert Lewandowski can't read.
And there's a couple of desperados in England who can afford them. You know, we know Barcelona is the preferred choice for the player, and I can understand that, but they have their own woes. However, Chelsea and Manchester United, two of the financial juggernauts in the Premier League, are absolutely desperate for somebody that can come in. And I know I'm sometimes against short-termism, and particularly at Man United, where it's a rebuild. However, sometimes you've got to take somebody in for a couple of years until you can make that transition. And if I was one of those two clubs, bearing in mind Chelsea don't have a striker with Lukaku, or a natural striker with Lukaku who gone to Inter, and Cavani's left and he was in his 30s, Ronaldo's what, 36, 37. If I had the money and Barcelona were not looking as if they were able to do it, I think I'd go to Bayern Munich and just try and make this one happen, particularly if I was Chelsea or Man U.
Jan?
And it's quite interesting, 13 months ago, right after the Champions League final, we talked about the preferred striker of Thomas Tuchel then to get into to Chelsea at that time was 1, Erling Haaland, 2, Robert Lewandowski, and then Lukaku. And he get no on the both first of them, the 1 and 2, and he got Lukaku at the end, and we saw how that ended. So Thomas Tuchel is a big admirer of Robert Lewandowski, and I always thought that it could come back for him. But it seems that Robert Lewandowski is in love with Barcelona. But when money can't buy love, he maybe end up at Chelsea at the second time.
Jan, let's keep our focus on Bayern Munich. I don't think we've had you on the show since Sadio Mane's move from Liverpool to Bayern Munich became official. So with that in mind, let's get your perspective on it, because I guess the conversation going around Germany right now is whether this is the biggest signing ever to come to the Bundesliga. Obviously, there's been big names that came early in their career, maybe later on in their career, but Jan, in terms of players who are in the prime of their career, has there ever been a bigger signing in the Bundesliga, in your opinion?
I think I have to go back to '77, Seb. They signed Kevin Keegan, the Hamburger Sportsverein. He was in his top notch then, playing the Europa final for Liverpool. And maybe we've forgotten someone. They've re-signed some German international going to Italy. But this is a big move. This is a statement move from Bayern Munich. And I've been criticizing Salihamidzic. I've been criticizing Oliver Kahn, because I think there's a lot of things they've done. But this signing, well, you can put your age into it, but this is a fantastic player for them, and a player who wanted to go to Bayern. I just read a big article today in the German media where they were going through this, and Mané more or less went into the first meeting and he said, "You had me by hello. I want to play for Bayern Munich." If that is something to do that he played in Salzburg, he knew German Bundesliga, I don't know. But that a player like this, playing for Liverpool, a player who's improved, being a part of these three attackers at Liverpool, go straight to Bayern Munich, that is some raise me up kind of signing for Salihamidzic.
Jan,
it's not a good strategy to get a few extra quid, is it?
No, you don't like it?
No, I mean, Jan, it's not a good strategy to get a few extra shekels, you know, to go in and say, "Oh, yeah, you've got me, I want to sign." Like that.
Not a very hard negotiator there.
No, not really.
Look, so we got Sadio Mane coming in. We know that that's a guarantee. We don't know that Lewandowski will leave, but let's assume that he does. How does that change the style with which Bayern will play next season?
No, it's interesting because they can then end up, I tried to put up a possibly starting lineup. You could play Mane as an in-and-out striker, as they call it. Müller can have some of that same position. And with Coman and Sané on the sides, or Mane can go out there. So if they don't go for a number 9, I understand now they won't go for the Stuttgart player Kalajdzic, because they feel that with Choupo-Moting they have the second option. And then you have a team with Goretzka and Kimmich, like the number 6, that is world class. And then you see Mazraoui, who came from Ajax. I don't think Pavard will get so many games this season, the French international. And Gravenbrecht, the other guy that they took from Ajax, will have trouble to get into that team. But always, like, I'm a part of the number 9 union. I think that the football of 2022, and you see that with even Pep Guardiola says that my team will be better if I get to number 9. So I still think that Bayern Munich will miss that player. There will be games that Mané and Müller won't be enough in that number 9 kind of position.
Sadio Mane is a number 9. What do you think?
Well, he did it last year for Liverpool. He floated around. When Roberto Firmino lost his form, Klopp had to adjust. Obviously, they signed Luis Diaz in January. He was brilliant. That gave him another option. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a different way of playing. And I suppose if you haven't got the right options around you, then you have to adapt to the system. And I'm sure Nagelsmann, as a young coach, and a much vaunted young coach, will cope with that. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to weaken Bayern to an extent, not having a 40-plus, whatever it is, goals. However, I still think they're going to be heavy favourites, Sebi, for the Bundesliga.
Right then, let's leave you with a look at the Bundesliga schedule. Season starts on August 5th, a little bit earlier, as we get set for the World Cup later this year. Bayern Munich against away at Eintracht Frankfurt, of course, the defending Europa League winners, but more importantly, one of Jan's former squads. La Liga has announced its fixture list for the upcoming season. Games will start on the weekend of August 14th. Real Madrid, the champions, are away against newly promoted Almeria. Meanwhile, Barcelona will open at home against Rayo Vallecano. Speaking of Barcelona, today the 35th birthday for one Lionel Messi. So let's take a trip down memory lane. His top 10 goals in La Liga. We'll start May 1st, 2005.
Well,
His debut. You remember this one, Craig?
No. This could not have been an easy thing to pick out. Bearing in mind this...
How many there are?
Well, he scored so many unbelievable goals. This one, obviously, Ronaldinho. With a little flick over in the volley. I mean, I could have scored that volley, but it was all a bit...
Easy, steady. Number 9, September of 2011 against Atletico Madrid. Just slicing through everybody and at the near post. Wow. You forget these, huh? This 11-12 season, now...
You could probably do his top 100 goals, couldn't you? I mean, that's how good they've been.
Yeah, and it wouldn't get any worse or any slower as you got in the 80s and 90s. Number 8 against Rayo Vallecano from 2014.
Yeah, pretty nice. Of course, people watching this will disagree. They'll think there was other goals better than this. And what will happen is I'll fret about that all weekend.
Yes, you will lose sleep.
I'll fret and fret about it.
Number 7, another one from 2014 against Sevilla.
Look at the goalie. The goalie's blaming somebody. Who's he blaming? He's blaming the wall. What does he want the wall to do? Holy smoke.
Number 6, back to 2009. Cutting to the inside on his left. We've seen that before.
Yeah. There's got to be a goal where he beats like 15 people.
Yes.
Goes back and beats them again. Has to be, surely.
Well, remember, this is limited to La Liga play. So we might not see some of the Copa del Rey Classic.
Hey, I knew that.
Oh, yes, you did, because you were paying attention when I did the read. Yeah, right. Look, I mean, this is just absurd. 2010 against Valencia.
I get the feeling Ronaldo fans won't be liking this segment.
No?
No, biased. ESPN biased.
Yes, on
FC biased against Ronaldo.
2010 against Tenerife. Oh.
It's marvellous.
You got that in your bag? 60-degree wedge?
At the golfer.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. Number 3, 2010 against Zaragoza. Messi showing off his defensive abilities there.
Yeah, strength. Just good strength. I mean, holy man. I mean, it's just...
Strength and balance. It's really the balance with him. It never went down.
Strong. Brushes the player up. Great feet. Head up. I mean, you just think about that. Look at that.
It's not even number 1. At number 2, another goal against Sevilla from 2012. Megs.
Oh, dear. Oh.
Megs and the chip.
Well, PSG are not getting that now,
no,
are they?
No, they're not.
This is not the version that's in Ligue 1.
These are La Liga goals. Top 10 La Liga goals. 2013 against Athletic Club de Bilbao. This is the number 1 goal, according to our production team, of Lionel Messi in La Liga. You okay with that?
Well, I don't know, because there's hundreds of other goals I've not seen. Now, if they'd rang me in the last 24 hours and said, do you want to come in and look at this?
What would you have said?
No.
Absolutely not.
So
there
he scored so many. I mean, why does this program hate Ronaldo so much?
Oh, please don't start that. Please don't. We're going to have enough of that on Twitter. I don't need you fanning the flame.
Why is it a Messi love-in? Where's the Ronaldo goal?
No. Well,
that's all I'm saying.
To curb the Messi love-in, we brought in one of his chief critics for this segment, Shaka Hislop.
The man that's on every documentary going. Pops up everywhere.
Shaka, great to have you with us. We know he's turned 35 today. He's coming off his worst club season of his career. What kind of Messi do you think we're going to get this fall at PSG?
The same Messi that we got this season. First of all, let me just say, I don't call myself as a Messi critic just because I think to be regarded as the best to have ever played the game, you need to win the World Cup. That's all I ever say, and everybody's interpreted it as you just have. That being said, I don't think there's any doubt that Messi is now past his individual best. PSG continues to be in a bit of a mess despite everything that's happened this summer and the promises to change going forward. So we'll see. But in all honesty, I think Lionel Messi this season will be marginally better in his second season in Liga. But I don't think he'll dominate in PSG and in France in the way that he did through his peak years at Barcelona.
No, far from me to go over old ground.
But
are you saying, Shaq, You can't consider Ronaldo one of the greatest to play the games.
No, it's not one of, it's the greatest, right?
Yeah, but
yeah, that's what I said.
But I think that argument, I've used that phrase before, Shaka, because if you say the World Cup is so important, how can Ryan Giggs and Georgie Best never play a World Cup and I could have played a World Cup? That kills every argument about that. I mean, the best player can't be at the World Cup. Yes, Lionel Messi has been there, but I think that in the modern game, we have to see how often you win the Champions League. There are different tournaments, different levels. When you see these goals, and I agree with Craig, there probably be 100. We could start at 100 and there still be some goals coming out. You've never seen a magician like him. This is Harry Potter with a football shirt. I mean, this is unbelievable, the goals he's doing. I mean, Craig could have done some of them. I could have probably done some of them as well, but not all the time in every game. Since he was 17, I mean, it's amazing what he's doing, and hopefully we can see him in a couple of more seasons.
The dribbling ones, no chance.
No.
The chips and flicks. I tell you
Chips
what, I'm in this Sunday working. So
you'll go through them again.
What I'm going to do is Saturday, I'm going to go through at least 300 or 400 of the goals, and I'm going to look them out. So if you want to watch Sunday show, I'll have some different ones for you. I'll be honest with you. I'm only really interested in watching Lionel Messi at the World Cup this year.
Right.
I couldn't give a stuff what he does in Ligue 1. Couldn't give a stuff. I'm not sure many people do outside of France. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lionel Messi turns up at the World Cup. Bearing in mind, there's a lot of people have said, oh, Argentina, this could be the year. And my argument would be, wow, there's been as good of Argentina sides with maybe better players, with the best version of Messi 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it is, and he couldn't drag that Argentina team over the line because it's difficult. How is this current version of Messi at 35? How is he going to do it? So I'm intrigued. Intrigued to see how they play at the World Cup.
Shaka, you're picking Argentina to win the World Cup.
As a goalie.
Right? So answer Craig's question then.
Because the Argentina of 8 years ago and 10 years ago with Lionel Messi in his pomp weren't able to win the Copa America. But all of a sudden, Lionel Messi, this version of him, where I think he's proven to be a better leader in that Argentina dressing room, where the team have a better appreciation of their roles in supporting him, have done exactly that. This is their best international showing with Lionel Messi in an Argentina shirt. So I don't see why that changes from last summer to this November.
It's interesting, Seb, if I may say, with the World Cup history and or the World Cup coming up, we think back of Diego Maradona, who was fantastic in '86, of course, but he did an unbelievable job in 1990 as well. He wasn't that fat as he was in '94, but he still was good, and he was taken for some drug using. But in 1990, him and Caniggia, Maradona more or less took that team to a final in Italy. Remember that? And Germany won it by a doubtful for penalty, and Andy Brehme made the winner. But he would. What my point is that Lionel Messi will always be compared with Diego Maradona. I mean, because if you set up the candidates for the best players, the greatest of all time, you not only you have to compete with Ronaldo or Johan Cruyff or Zidane or Puskás, whoever, but you also have to be compared with another Argentinian who's won the World Cup in '86 and also took them to a final in 1990.
Well, Cruyff didn't win the World Cup either.
No.
Dutch got to the finals but couldn't win. I mean, Shaq just hates all these top players.
Shaq doesn't hate. We'll let him have the last word here. Go ahead, Shaq.
No. To that point, to the point that Craig just raises, the only reason Johan Cruyff isn't mentioned in that list is because he hasn't won a World Cup. And I stand by that.
He wasn't on your list,
But
Shaq.
all of a sudden... What?
Cruyff was not, I haven't been on for some days now. You've made a list of the best players in the world of history, and you haven't put in Johan Cruyff. No, this is unbelievable. I want to see that list someday.
Johan Cruyff isn't discussed as being one of the greatest to have ever played because he hasn't won the World Cup. He's not mentioned in that list.
No, I can't have that. There is no chance that you can make... How many players did you put on that list?
I didn't make a list.
Okay.
There's not a list. It's in his head.
Okay, there's a list in your head that's saying that when you have a candidate of the best players in the world, and you don't put Johan Cruyff in, who's probably a big candidate to be the greatest player of all time.
Jan, hear me out. Jan, hear me out. I continue to maintain that if we're discussing the greatest player to have ever played in the game, right? The one greatest player. No, I'm not in this. We have 5 and 6 greatest GOATs of all time. I'm not one. It comes down to a list of Maradona, Pele, Brazilian Ronaldo, and I think Lionel Messi is on the outside looking in. Now, if you want to expand that list and make it 10 long, you can throw in another 6 if you like. But I think if we are going to choose one, it comes down to that 4 at the very best. Now, if you want to throw in Johan Cruyff at 5th, then be my guest.
Okay, fair enough. I'm relieved because I thought you have made a list, but it's in your head, and that's fair enough. That is your exclusive opinion.
There's lots of things in his head, Jan. We will. Won't worry about it. See, this wasn't in the running order, was it?
No, this is not in the running order. This is in the running order. A promo for Extra Time where I'm sure we will get into lots more nonsense taking your questions. Christopher Nkunku will be staying put at RB Leipzig. The 24-year-old Frenchman has signed a new contract that will keep him at the Bundesliga club through 2026. That despite the fact that he was linked to almost every big club this summer. For more on this, we welcome back Jan Aage Fjortoft. Jan, from a Leipzig perspective, just how big a coup is this that they're able to keep a player that looked like he was destined to make the move?
Well, there is a word going around now we call a statement signing, and I think that is this for RB Leipzig. And Nkunku, well, you said he was linked to every club, but I think this deal makes sense for both parties because RB Leipzig are able to keep their best player, and he had a fantastic season last season. But if you have a look around at the clubs in Europe, it's not a time now when they got Mané at Bayern Munich to go there. Real Madrid still is, should you go there? So many good players there. Liverpool got Diaz and what they all call the top strikers that they're having. With Jota coming in, Firmino and Salah, they still got them. Manchester United not in the Champions League, and so on and so on. So I think for Nkunku as well, this is a good deal because he got himself a release clause in there. It's about 62 million, we understand. So this is a good deal even for him. For him to stay another season in the German Bundesliga, play in the Champions League, that won't make him any harm. And this is a player still in progress. He's still developing, and he can get even better. And with the RB Leipzig team, that this season will start well when you compare it for last season where it was struggling big time with Jesse March.
Yeah, and you mentioned the release clause. It makes me think of the situation with Erling Haaland at Borussia Dortmund last year. And, of course, we know that everybody was just lining up to put that release clause in and try to get him. Where do you think Christopher Nkunku will end up next year when those bidders do come in?
Well, I'm a big fan, Seb, of Formula One, and it's all about where are available seats. And you can imagine that Real Madrid, after winning the Champions League, and still the last dance for the boys will maybe be this season. They'll see. We slowly have to get younger players in, and Nkunku can fit into that team for next season. And you may think that there could have been discussion between RB Leipzig, or at least from the players' representatives with different clubs, talking about, if we talk about Real Madrid, that maybe next season we will come in for you. You get a release clause in there. And this is used a lot in German football, and this is the way for clubs like Real Dortmund and RB Leipzig to keep their best players. So this is a way for them, and I think there is good teaming for both club and the player.
So Christopher Nkunku is staying put. So is Florian Wirtz, the 19-year-old signing a contract extension at Bayer Leverkusen, going to keep him at the club until 2027. He's a teenager, Jan, but he's already got almost right around 80 appearances with the club. How good is this player for those that haven't seen him?
Well, this is the next big thing. He was unbelievable last season. Then he got a cruciate ligament. It will be a battle for him now to be fit for the World Cup for Germany. He's a 19-year-old. He'll be a big candidate going in there. What I like about this contract is that Bayer Leverkusen is using that time to kind of sit down with him, talking about the future, it maybe be a highlight now that he is in rehabilitation, trying to get back. And you're just wondering, because Simon Rolfes, as the head of sports at Bayer Leverkusen, said at the time that Florian Wirtz didn't have a release clause. And now that he has extended his contract, and you were wondering, will that be a part of this new package that they will keep him? And maybe he's 19, Seb. So say that from 25, the release clause will be active. Those kind of models you can see. But this is the next big thing in German football. You love to watch him play football. This is a great young kid, and we wish him all the best in his battle to get back.
Jan, let's put your sporting director cap on here. You got some money, and you can either buy Nkunku or Wirtz. Who you buying?
Well, it depends what you need, Seb. It's got to be a boring thing. I think that if you see the progress Florian Wirtz has been doing, and Nkunku, if you see his seasons, it's the last year that he has exploded, more or less. Florian Wirtz is that kind of player that he will play for another 12, 13 years in that position. But as a sports director, I will always be aware how quick will he be fit again. So got to be a difficult decision. In the long term, I would have said Florian Wirtz. To buy him now for next season, I will go for Nkunku.
All right, Jan, as always, great stuff. Plenty more on the Bundesliga available over on our ESPN FC YouTube channel. 1.44 million subscribers. All your show bonus content available for you on YouTube. All right, that'll do it for this edition of ESPN FC. Up next, we got extra time. Taking your questions. Stick around. Hey there, everybody. Welcome into this Friday edition of ESPN FC's Extra Time. Craig Burley and Sebastian Salazar with you as well as Aage Fjortoft and
before we start with the questions, the word on the street is that you're a very unhappy man at the moment.
Is this about Jules?
Because somebody got a lot of airtime the other day.
I was very bitter about
scoring a goal.
Did they put it in? Did they put my goal in?
And you were upset.
First of all, they put Jules' goal from a charity game in the show. I scored this 2 months ago in the Congressional Soccer match in a packed stadium. Look at the celebrations, and they didn't even roll it. They didn't even run it in extra time. Come on.
And you're on the phone saying, oh, they put Jules' goal in, they didn't put mine. I need more FaceTime. I need to get on. Look,
we just talk
I want to show my skills. Hey, by the way,
look at that.
You'll get a game for the US. Keep playing like that.
I mean,
by the way, the World Cup's not that far away.
It's not that far.
Players. Look at you. Who are you applauding?
Jan, you're a striker. What did you think of that finish?
I think you should be in the squad for the World Cup. I think you're in there. I mean, that finishing for some squad. Get yourself to the World Cup, wherever. Great shot. And I saw that the way you were like a cobra when you get past the defender. The goalkeeper came out. You could see that with a world-class goalkeeper. Great goal, great celebration. Very tired and at the end there, but still, you were milking it.
I'm sorry.
So what was you doing sitting down at the end?
I was gassed. I had scored my goal. I'd done my job. I walked off and got a little sub.
Was you icing your leg? Is that ice?
That's just desperation for gasping for air.
And why is there a this is intriguing me. Who's filming you? Why is there
we had an ESPN cameraman there.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
You bring your own cameraman.
Now that makes sense. Oh, I'll be playing in the charity match. Maybe you can send a camera down.
I mean, it's a perfect moment to gather content, as they say. Go on.
I had a charity game with Erling Haaland. I didn't see any ESPN camera there.
We literally talked about it in extra time.
Let me tell you. I'll have to call back in then.
Okay.
Shuck. Let me tell you, if that's the kind of content we're searching for, we're in big trouble.
I know. Jan did play goalie recently in a testimonial match, a charity match. But today he was doing something even more exciting.
Is he with us or what?
Yeah. Shaka's with. Shaka. They tell me you did get a look at my goal, and I couldn't help but acknowledge the faces you were making as it was being replayed.
Yeah, because I have to admit, I thought my phone was stuck on slow motion for a bit. I've never seen anybody run that slow and still run by people.
You haven't seen me, Shaka. You haven't seen me.
I was a little concerned.
I think it was digitizing there. I think the phone was. There's something with the streaming.
Watch this.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah. Look at the move right there. Ooh.
You look as if you put a bit of timber on in that.
Whoa, pot and calling kettle. What do you mean?
He did as well, right?
What happened to this?
It's the mic pack. There's a mic pack there that makes me look a little bit.
Oh, he's tired.
I'll be honest.
Those are some big breaths.
He's kept the mic pack on the front.
Do us a favour in the gallery. Do us a favour in the gallery. Don't run that again. I've seen enough of it. We've all seen enough. Hey, by the way, Shaq, you're sweating up in the paddock again. I see this air condition still a problem.
I am.
For God's sake, man, just switch it on at the wall.
Noise. I have to turn it off.
How does aircon make noise?
It makes a loud noise. I have to turn it off.
It's okay. Okay, Shaka. It's okay.
Yeah, not nearly as exciting as my goal. What about your skydiving today?
Whoa.
Saw that on social media.
Yeah, fantastic. I was going with my daughter. There was a thing that my rest of the family did it, and she was 16 at the time. I didn't let her. Now she was 19. I had to go. And I tell you what, boys, the first 10 seconds when you're just going down, unbelievable. Will I do it again? Of course I won't. But it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Was there ever a point? There must have been a split second, Jan, when you thought, hope this bloody parachute opens.
Well, I told my daughter said to me, Craig, when we were driving up there, she said, "Yeah, Dad, don't do your usual all that question thing about if he gets a stroke or whatever. Don't say anything. Just go into that plane, just jump out and follow me out." And I did, Craig. Did I think of it that he could get a stroke? All the time.
Oh my God!
Wow! Don't jinx it, Jan. Always the positive one here on Extra Time.
Who thinks of that? Who thinks that?
We gotta get to the questions. We gotta get the questions. We're like 10 minutes in.
Shaka, I have to tell you, Shaka, if you do a tandem jump, you're all depending that the guy next to you that you never met in your life before, that you can rely on him. Yeah. And he comes up to me, who was a good guy, and said, hello. He said, hello.
I hope my tandem sky instructor doesn't get a stroke. Who thinks
No, but he could get a stroke. He could die. I mean, people could die. So when we jump out of the plane, he could have a heart attack and die. What happened? But I didn't ask. I went bravely out of the plane. I went down like a rocket for 10 seconds, and then the guy from Marseille, who just told me that he didn't want to see Zinedine Zidane be the manager of PSG, he had time to tell me that, and he did the skydiving, and he did a fantastic job.
Glad everyone survived.
I suppose you could ask nicely, couldn't you?
Nobody got a stroke.
Just as the plane door pulls open, you go, do you mind not dying in the next 10 seconds?
All right, first of the questions.
Very scary, that. Very scary.
And I'm sure this question will go well.
I jumped out the back of a plane once.
Did you?
No.
Craig, why do you dislike Christian Pulisic so much?
I don't dislike him. Who's this? Paranoid Pete?
It's from Dougie, who was probably watching Football Americas the other night, and your great guest visit on the show.
People.
I heard about that.
You actually were not that critical of.
I'll be honest. I don't give a stuff.
I know you don't.
I really don't care what people think. People
really? That's surprising.
A lot of people, majority of people can't take a bit of honesty. I think he's a good player, but there needs to be a level at one point where you think, right, am I going to play regular at Chelsea? Is this good enough? Or do I need to take a step somewhere else? And we'll find out very, very soon. That's all I'm saying.
Shaka, Craig on Football Americas. Do you ever think you'd see the day?
I'm thinking about jumping out an airplane now,
I heard the ratings were at an absolute peak. Never before.
No, never seen those numbers before. David
When is he coming back? All I want to know is when he's coming back.
Well, you're actually on the schedule next, so once we get through you and Stevie and Ale again, then we'll get back to Craig.
Shaq, don't, because he started texting me saying, oh, the producer will get in touch with you and he'll send you this. I said, listen, read the script. I don't do that.
No.
Just
tell me when to show up.
Just call me on this number, tell me when to show up, and shut up.
Yes.
I don't do producer emails and all that. It's just a waste of time.
And I took it to heart, and I did shut up for the rest of the day until I saw you again for the show. Jan, should Bayern go in for Ronaldo, who they have been, I guess, lightly linked to, if they sell Lewandowski? What a replacement that would be.
what's the next one who will be linked to Bayern? Elvis Presley? I mean, it's so ridiculous. Cristiano Ronaldo won't go to Bayern. They say apparently Mendes have offered Bayern him. I don't believe in these stories. I think that this is a way of kind of do something with the Manchester United situation, because Manchester United seem not to want to buy players, can't buy players, are not able to buy players. And this Cristiano Ronaldo thing, I think Cristiano Ronaldo will play there, will be their top scorer again, and there is no chance that he will end up in Bayern Munich, Cristiano Ronaldo, and all this kind of thing that he hasn't won a league in Germany. Well, he hasn't won in Norway either. So this is nothing into this story.
He hasn't skydived either. With the man who's about to
of
take
course
a
he
stroke.
has. He had dived a lot, though. He has dived a lot.
That's a risk.
Ben asks, now that they signed another keeper, if you were Ethan Horvath, do you try to get a move away from Nottingham? That's what Zach Steffen appears to be doing. Shaka, what do you think? Time for Horvath to move?
I think so. I think Horvath is in a good position in terms of, well, we will see what Zach Steffen does. We've spoken about Martina going to Arsenal. I don't think he'd get an incredible amount of game time over Ramsdale. So if I'm Horvath, I'm thinking, if I can get meaningful game time, who knows what decisions will be made come November. If he plays well, he may very well find himself by default at the head of the USQ.
Oh, is that the next one I got to listen to?
What? Ethan Horvath? Should he stay?
No. He played in the playoffs, came on in the playoffs for Nottingham Forest. But all the goalkeepers are...
Yep.
Now that Matt Turner has moved, they're all sort of second string at the moment at the clubs. Does that mean there's another pile-on of, oh, this is a disaster for the US?
I don't think...
Christian Pulisic is not playing. Let's walk our way back. Let's see how many more we can cry about. Oh, everybody hates Pulisic in Chelsea. Now they hate goalkeepers across Europe. American goalkeepers.
Yes, the American goalie.
There we go.
Craig, don't ask what USA can do for you. Ask for what you can do for USA. You live there.
If they ask me to come in the camp, I'll go in the camp, give them all a good kick up the backside.
Goalie. Coaching question. What's next for Wayne Rooney?
We've got the next Football Americas right there.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm not going on that again, Shaq.
Football Americas.
One and done.
What's next for Wayne Rooney? Should he go abroad like Graham Potter to gain experience, or should he stay in England and wait for a Premier League job?
What do you mean?
What should he do? He's left RB.
Yeah. Of course, that ownership problem.
He'll probably get a Premier League job, right?
Don't think so, not at the moment.
Not now.
Not at the moment. With the Kirchner takeover, that was a disaster and was all a bit pie in the sky. So, yeah, I mean, he did. It was a good experience from in a bad situation at a good club that's been run badly. But no, I don't think he's walking into a Premier League club. I have to be honest. It's too big. Too big.
Ooh, good one. Start bench.
Maybe a Major League Soccer. He's been here before, hasn't he? He can come to your club. You can slander him again.
You know what? I don't think Wayne Rooney left DC United on the best terms. I don't think he's coming back.
And then you can go and grovel to him again, like you did in the interview.
I acknowledged that I was wrong. I ate my mistake publicly. What more do you want? There's nothing bigger than that, Craig. Craig, start, bench, sell.
Man, you're a man.
Cantona, Van
Man's man.
I'm never gonna.
Go on.
Cantona, Van Nistelrooy, Rooney. Start.
Sorry?
Bench, sell.
Cantona, Van Nistelrooy, Rooney. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, Jesus.
Goodness me.
Wow.
Oh. Cantona will always be playing.
Okay. So who are you selling, Jan?
I'm playing Cantona, I'm benching Rooney, and I'm selling Van Nistelrooy.
Okay, you're both selling.
Primarily because we had a bit of a Dutch theme the other day and we've worked out Gab. I won't say it.
Okay, thank you for sparing us all there. For Jan, which European country has the best hotels and hospitality? You always seem to be in a different hotel room.
Yeah, well, best hotels, best country, best hospitality. Well, I would say what's my favorite is to go to Italy. I love Italy. And there are some great hotels south in Italy and some in Tuscany. You can go to Florence or Firenze, whatever you will call that. a Renaissance
Florence.
city. Florence, thank you, Craig. Great city. But I'm also a fan of Germany, you know that. So I can tell
Well,
you
you
about
spend enough
airport
time
hotels.
there, Jan. You got a German passport?
No,
I'm being serious.
Nobody in Europe have a passport at the moment because they can't get anything to make them. So we're all queuing up for passport. I will. He should go to Italy. I think that is a historical, fantastic country and great hospitality as well.
Have you been to Italy?
I've not been to Italy. No. Would you? Is it the number one seed? I should go.
No.
What would you say? Best forget the hotels. Best hospitality in Europe.
They're all pretty good. Portugal, Spain.
Where would you go? Where'd you go? None. I give you one trip right now.
What for though? Vacation or what?
Yeah,
what?
vacation, little golf.
I'd go Italy. Nice villa.
Wow.
Rent a villa in Italy somewhere.
Yeah. Sardinia.
With the restaurants.
Sardinia.
Shaka,
Sardinia.
you gonna make it 3 for 3, or you gonna go somewhere else here?
But I'll be honest, I haven't done an awful lot of traveling in Europe.
And certainly no vacations.
Whenever the season's finished, I just went back to Trinidad and Tobago. Best European holiday, Capri. The best one that I've been on.
Well,
Capri,
Shaka, great.
Italy.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great. Capri is fantastic.
This man, he's trying to tell people he doesn't take many holidays, Shaq.
You want to know the truth? Shaka was supposed to be on vacation today, but he came into work.
He hasn't come in.
That's the dedication. That's the dedication.
Was you supposed to be off today,
right.
Shaq?
Yep, that's right. Let the world know.
I was.
Trojan.
He was.
Trojan.
Shaka bailing us out.
And you answered your phone?
I'm getting time and a half.
Schoolboy error, even picking your phone up.
That's right. As you keep talking, he keeps getting paid.
You look at the number and you go, ooh, I think they want me to work.
All right, so that'll do it for this edition of Extra Time, so we don't have to pay Shaka anymore. We will be back on tomorrow's edition of ESPN FC. We'll see you then. 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 We'll see you then.